Thank you for joining another edition of Odyssey House Journals, one of the most watched and listened to podcasts dealing with addiction and recovery. And that's really what we focus on. And we hope to provide hope to people who have loved ones in addiction, or if you happen to be high and watching this, I don't know why you'd be watching this, but if you are, there is hope. Even though you might not believe me because you're high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. And anyway, welcome. I'm Randall Carlisle, your host. Nicole Slack is my co-host. And Paulina Barrios is our guest today. Welcome.
Thank you, Randall. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to see you. I've known you for 6-7 years, something like that.
That's right.
And you are a person in long-term recovery. How long?
8 years.
8 years. I got you beat. 13, but she's got you beat by a lot.
Yeah, I'm baby in recovery 3 years almost.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And we, in our last podcast, it was interesting. The person that we were interviewing said she's put all that in the past and she's sort of glad that she went through what she did because it made her a stronger person today. And Nicole said, you're not at the point where you're glad you did what you did because it made you stronger.
Yeah, like I recognize that I am stronger and better, but I still am like I can't believe I did that for so long and all the people I hurt. And I've said sorry, but I'm not on the other side of that yet.
Yeah.
So the guilt?
Yeah. No, I still feel guilty about some of the crap that I pulled while I was a functional alcoholic for decades. So I wasn't a very nice person. So.
You're really nice now, though.
Well, that's because of recovery. I couldn't. It's funny. I don't know if you found this, but I was so impatient all the time, and I blamed everybody else for all my problems. And now I'm a patient person, and I care more about people as opposed to myself.
Oh, absolutely.
So are you on the other side of that?
I feel like I teeter sometimes. You know, I carry a lot of shame as a mother. I've had to get to know my kids all over again and step up and be consistent with who I am now to show them that those things are behind me and to show them that you're not defined by the mistakes that you make. Also, my line of work, I am the director of a homeless shelter here in Salt Lake. So I deal with people getting into recovery and battling the reality of addiction. So I'm confronted with that a lot. So I try to show people and inspire people and try to steer them away from the shame that they carry. But it's something that sometimes it really sticks to me too. And I think about them and I think about how they feel and how I relate to it a lot.
Can you just sort of give us a brief outline of your days of addiction, how it started and how long it lasted?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So I'm from South America. So I came here in 1995. I'm a child of addicts. My parents are in long-term recovery too. I think they have about 27 years in recovery. So I'm really proud of that. We came to America for the American dream like everyone else does. I excelled in school, but I was honestly just drawn to the streets. It was something that I saw and that I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to grow up fast and I wanted to go out there and I wanted to make a name for myself. And I shifted my focus from building on myself to instant gratification. Like, who could I be out here? What could I gain from out here? So I kind of had addiction problems in my adolescence, but nothing that really took over until I was in my late 20s and when I got addicted to OxyContin with my ex-husband at the time. And that spiraled out of control. So by the time I was 29, I tried meth for the first time. So kind of a late bloomer when it comes to those terms. And gosh, the next couple of years of my life were just a big blur, and everything just kind of went down in flames. I flunked out of drug court. I ran from probation. I wasn't allowed to be anywhere. So I actually lived the same lifestyle of the people that I'm currently helping and I see every day. So I find it ironic that I went through all of these things and clawed my way out of this, right? My own demons to sit in it every day and help people. But I honestly, that has helped me excel in my career because those are things you can't really train someone on.
No.
So I've made it my lemonade, I guess.
Yeah. Did you start in South America or when you came to America?
When I came to America.
Welcome to America, land of drugs.
Yeah, right.
How old were you when you came?
I was 10, so it was in 95. So I had about a good 5 sober years here before I started using.
What was the allure? You said street life just appealed to you. What was the allure of that? It's not a pleasant life.
It isn't. I don't know if it had to do with the fact that I was really desensitized from crime growing up in South America and seeing all the things that I saw. Like just going to the store, you would get your money prepared before you'd go to the store because you wouldn't want to pull out extra cash. 'Cause
Really?
You might get mugged. Oh, definitely. So I saw everybody get victimized by it, and I didn't want to ever be that. So what's the opposite of that? To be a part of it. To
You'd
be,
be a tough girl.
yeah. Yeah, little old me.
What country in South America?
Chile.
Okay. And you're from
My parents are both born and raised in Argentina.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
2 South Americans here. Yeah.
You gonna make it?
Yeah. Don't attack me first. No. And it seems like almost every single guest we have has addiction running in their family. Do you find out with the clients that you work with all the time that they have addiction running in their family?
Absolutely. It's something I think about all the time, too, because I'm a child of addicts. I have children that went through the trauma of having me in addiction, and I carry that with me all the time. So I try to be as vigilant as I can about those little disconnects and little things like that. But just having it on my radar, I think is the best thing I can do.
I follow you on Facebook, okay? And I see you do an awful lot of things with your kids, and you seem to be very family-oriented now.
I'm so grateful for that. I cried so many holidays without them. I was so miserable without them. And I always felt bad because when I would speak about it, people would always wonder why that didn't fuel my sobriety. In a way, it just kept me sicker. I would feel so much shame. I would be missing them so much that it would give me the permission I needed to stay sick. So I remember being strung out and being outside the Smiths on 5th and 5th and watching this lady push her stroller out, and she had like 3 little kids with them, and she was losing her mind. She was so overwhelmed with all those kids, and I was so jealous of her. I was so jealous. I wanted to feel that. I wanted to be in that so much. So now I just love it.
What happened to your kids during your addiction period?
I was fortunate enough to have my children be with their dads.
Ah.
Yeah.
So, and now do they live with you?
They do. They do. All 3 of my kids live with me now. They see their fathers, of course, but all 3 of them live with me, and I have them full time.
Describe the process that it did and the time it took you to finally find recovery.
Oh my gosh. Well,
You did it once and no relapses, and you were perfect, right?
absolutely. Yeah. It was wham bam. Well, I went through Odyssey House 3 different times.
3.
Yes. I went to outpatient, was terrible there. Then I went to residential, was worse there. And then I left and was on the run, and I didn't try any other programs or anything like that. Eventually, I was so strung out. I had no help. My parents, I ran into my dad at the grocery store. He acted like he didn't know me.
Whoa.
It was just all bad. Well, I had burned every bridge. I had done some awful things. So I didn't blame him. But at that point, I'm so sorry. I just lost my train of thought.
Well, you ran into how you found sobriety, but you.
Oh,
ran
my
into-
rock bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after I ran into my dad, I actually found out that I was pregnant with my son. And my pregnancy was awful. I stayed in and out of addiction. It was just a really sad and lonely time for me. But about a week before I actually went into labor, I went to the methadone clinic with my partner at the time. His name was Eric Trover. He passed away. He was an Odyssey member as well. And he got me there. I got on methadone, and a week later, my son was born. And the fact that I went and got on methadone helped me a tremendous amount. But it was actually DCFS that helped me get my life together. At that point, I was so terrified. I did not know the damage that I had caused to my son and my addiction. So it was a really humbling moment for me. And I just took all the help that they could give me. Before, when I'd gotten support, I would keep some things to myself. I never really wanted to fully give away what was really going on because out of fear that I would have some type of consequence or something. But this time, I couldn't hide anything anymore. I was totally exposed, and they were monumental in my support in my, they were monumental in my support, and they helped me the entire time. And after that, so I had DCFS and Odyssey House going at the same time. So I would be testing for Odyssey House and DCFS, and Odyssey House
Peeing every day of the week.
every day. Yes, and Odyssey House also was only let me into outpatient while I was waiting for the women's and children's program. That was the deal that I had with DCFS. And Christy Johnson, she was my therapist at the time, and she helped me a tremendous amount. So they saw my progress and let me stay in outpatient. So I was able to complete outpatient there, and then I was hired. Then I started working for Odyssey House, and I worked at Mill Creek for about 4 months.
Okay. And how, so you describe the times you ran. I mean, and what was the difference between, was it because of your child or what, that it worked the third time as opposed to the first two?
I think the first 2 times I was able to still lie. I was still sick. I was able to not, I mean, it doesn't get much worse than using while you're pregnant. That's like an absolute rock bottom for absolutely anybody. So that was the moment that I was exposed as bad as my addiction had gotten. And that's when I was able to not hide behind anything, not justify anything, and move forward.
Did your addiction have any effect on your son?
No. And I am so
You're kidding.
thankful for that. Absolutely.
You're lucky.
Absolutely. I'm well aware. Yeah.
So you found recovery. You worked for Odyssey for a little while, and you do something cosmetically as well, right?
Yeah, so I went through Odyssey House, and right afterwards, I signed up through Voc Rehab to go to cosmetology school. So I did cosmetology school, and I didn't plan it out very well because as a felon, I needed to go in front of a board to get my business license. So I completed my schooling and all of that, and in the time period that I needed to wait before my hearing, I took a part-time job at SwitchPoint, and I became a support staff member there. And then about 7 months later, I got promoted to case manager. So I kind of divvied away from hair. And then 4 months after becoming a case manager, I got promoted to the director of the overflow shelter, which is where I'm at now.
Wow. Describe that shelter for people who don't know.
I absolutely and utterly love the overflow. I could be biased, but I absolutely
You
love
might
it.
be.
Yes. So we host 200 people, single males and couples. We're one of the only shelters that doesn't segregate couples. We also don't have security. We do our own security.
Wow.
Yes, and our stats are incredible. I'm so proud. And it honestly comes down to building a culture, maintaining it, and having a human connection with people. So our security is based on us getting to know our guests and picking up on their cues. I have a huge team of amazing support staff members. I have 36 of them that work there. We're 24 hours, and we also accept pets. So we got cats, dogs, couples. It's a party.
Is it a low barrier or high barrier?
Low barrier.
So people can still be using.
Yes. And we're friendly to people that use, obviously. I tell them all the time, I will help you clean up after you. I will make sure that you're safe. I'll make sure that you're okay, but I cannot have you turn around and sell drugs here. Like the kindness that I'm extending to you now will be completely different if you come and try to make money out of this place. And honestly, they know that I could see through this stuff, right? I have a different set of eyes, and I feel really respected there because of it. And I also respect them in return. I know that I could walk down the street and feel okay about the decisions I've made as a director there.
Boy, the fact that you don't have any security is pretty amazing for the number of clients you have.
Oh, yeah.
And you think it's all based on trust?
Absolutely. I've seen it time and time again. We've had times where we've been short-staffed and the guests maintain the standard. It's all about connecting, right? They see me, they know that I'm in recovery. Some of them I used to see at the methadone clinic. So it's about what I have is attainable, and it's just through a little bit of work and working on yourself and being a little bit selfish. I think a lot of the times that's missed, right? They're seen as pretty selfish people because they just take, but in all reality, it's really different from that.
Do you have to be tough sometimes and exit some people?
Yes, absolutely.
I can tell you care, so that must be a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I've managed to share that responsibility with my team.
You do it.
Well, we have rules. So if you break the rules, there's some consequences. But I try to remove the personal aspect from it as much as I can. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to stand it.
You're part of what seems to be a failed effort in Salt Lake City. People are watching this around the world, and in cities like where they have problems a million times worse than ours, like Portland, Oregon, and L.A., and places like that. And what is your? Because I'd love to know this, and I'm sure our state legislators would too. What's your solution to the homeless situation that we have here?
Oh, I wish I had one. But what I do have is a willingness to put in any work and efforts that is needed to make sure that our unsheltered friends maintain their dignity and their self-worth, because that's something that you lose. And then once you lose that, what do you have to fight for if you don't feel like you deserve anything?
What do you say to people? There are a lot of conservative people who say, get a job, stop doing drugs. You don't deserve to live. I presume they can live free at your place?
Yes.
Okay, you don't deserve to live free. I have to pay a mortgage. Be like me, don't be like you. What do you say to people like that?
I've seen people walk in the doors of that shelter who are experiencing homelessness for the very first time in their lives. It's really hard to make ends meet nowadays for just everybody. So honestly, I hope that those that have those feelings don't get to experience what others are experiencing, but it kind of seems like a privilege to be that little bit detached from the reality of the suffering of that.
How much does the fact that you've gotten through all this help you with the job you're doing and influencing the people you're working with?
Oh, I promise I would not have the job I have now if I didn't have the skills that I acquired while I was on the streets and I was trying to survive. That has helped my career tremendously. 100%. I needed to go through all of that to get to where I'm at. And it's so rewarding. And in a small part, I still get like instant gratification because I'm helping somebody and I'm seeing it in real time. I don't have to wait for a voucher. I don't have to wait for this. It's happening right then and there. And I get my little fix.
and people who don't understand addiction should understand that what all of us were looking for was instant gratification, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, instant, not having to feel, instant wanting to just be happy.
Yes.
No work.
And you get it now from what you do.
Yes.
See,
How's this winter been for you guys?
So the winter's been great. Last winter, we participated in Code Blue, which is when the temperature drops. They call Code Blue and everybody expands capacity. But we actually expanded our capacity from 170 to 200, so we didn't participate in that. The winter has its own set of challenges with the unsheltered. There's a lot of communicable, COVID and flu things and like that. And having a congregate shelter, I really can't separate people when they're sick or anything like that. So just having staff get sick, everybody gets sick all in rounds. Aside from that, we don't really have a lot of beds that fluctuate. So we're a low barrier shelter, but we're also a night by night shelter. So if someone is not there for head count and they don't have a employment verified, we have to make room for other people. So the beds that fluctuate out of those 200 are probably 10. The rest are all regulars and all people that live there and follow the rules and help maintain order.
What are all the rules? If you say it's low barrier,
yeah.
So you can be high.
Well, I don't necessarily say you can be high. I just basically have a conversation with someone if they come in where we have an understanding of, hey, I see that you've obviously taken something. Basically, when I have those conversations, they're not ones where I go back and forth with someone. I just give them information and I just let them know. I'm not asking any questions. I'm just letting you know that for me, I have experience in this and it appears that you have done this. If you ever overdo it, please let me and my staff know. Then a couple of days later, I'll go find you and we'll have a more in-depth chat about things. I don't want to scare you off right away. What was that part of that?
And the other rules.
Oh, the
living
rules.
There.
Yeah, they're basic rules. So no threats or acts of violence, no sexually acting out. They sound like Odyssey rules.
Right? I was like,
I might have ripped them off. No theft. They have to be neighborly. So we're in West Valley where there's no other shelters. So we're in a neighborhood. It's at the old liquor store on Redwood Road. So we're right across the street from the Westerner, the Blue Boutique, that neighborhood there. So being neighborly is one of those. maintaining their areas, basically, just because everybody is so close together. They're 4 feet apart. So,
How ironic, an old liquor store,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, people walk up to the liquor store all the time thinking that it's still open as a liquor store. And I always say, you haven't been here for a while. Let's have a chat, because this has been closed for 3 years before we came along. But I think it's the police command post that makes people think it's still a liquor store.
You talked about the satisfaction you get, the instant gratification. I selfishly look at working at Odyssey as sort of going to a meeting every day and getting paid for it. I mean, you got to admit, Nicole, you're reminded every single day about addiction and recovery.
Yeah, I think this is my stay connected, because I think you have to stay connected to maintain your recovery. So this is my stay connected. I'm very fortunate that my stay connected also pays my bills.
I feel the same way, guys.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, to me, it's easier to stay in recovery doing what we all do.
Definitely. I love what I do.
So how is your organization, because you guys have really expanded, where all do you have places now? Tooele, St. George.
And Davis County.
And Davis County.
Yes, we have a teen living center in Davis County, which I thought was amazing. I went to the grand opening and it was great.
Davis County needs more and more, so that's awesome.
Yeah, we're creeping our way over there slowly.
Well, and they get more and more pushback from some of the residents there too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
how is your program funded?
So we are a nonprofit, but we also have a micro organizations. So we have a Switchpoint coffee shop. We have a thrift store. So we generate our own money. We also get donations and things like that.
Do you guys have a lot of resources that help you guys out, or people that come in to try to like book rehab or anything like that?
We work with First Step House a lot. We have a lot of our case management through them at our housing project, but we are expanding and having our own case management as well, because we do our own thing in our own little way. So doing it, having our autonomy is a lot better that way.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
And you're always, I see you saying we need donations.
definitely. Well, the 200 people sometimes, so those are the people that are enrolled in the program. However, the state has a shuttle service that shuttles the unsheltered from one shelter to the next, and we're one of those stops. So there's if we only have about 10 beds that fluctuate, there's people that come in, they don't have shoes. So we don't necessarily save our donations for just the people that are enrolled with us, just because we see people in such dire need. So we see a lot of shoes go out, a lot of blankets go out, a lot of hygiene we always need, just because people are constantly stopping by.
Well, the people who are, because it's not necessarily a place where people would want to live, sort of a last resort from being out of the street. Well, the people who are in your program get out of your program and succeed like you've succeeded.
I've seen people sit through that shelter and get themselves sober and get into housing, come back, give back. So I've seen quite a few people do that. We are able to get people into Switchpoint housing as well, because we have our own housing programs that we do. So we've been able to get a couple of people sheltered there. It's mostly geared towards people who are 55 and older. So the younger people, they do get support and services and come back and say hi, which is great.
Wait, what about, do you funnel people? You say you work with First Step. Do you get people to go into treatment out of your place?
Out of the shelter, no. Out of the shelter, we're basically there to stabilize people and get them off the street. Since we are a congregate overflow shelter, there's a slight difference in what a normal shelter would provide. So a normal shelter would provide case management and a different flow of resources like bus passes and things like that. The overflow is designed to support the homeless shelters. When they get full, they send people over to us. When a spot opens up, people filter back on through them. However, people really enjoy living at a Switchpoint property, so all those people just choose to stay with us, and we get them as far as we can get them. But it does take a lot of legwork and a lot of putting in your own effort behind things.
Is there any other shelter where you can live with a partner?
Yeah, there's plenty of them, but you would not be able to sleep in the same area. You're segregated, but we don't really have the space to segregate anybody. So it's an open area. So we just let the couples sleep side by side.
Oh, I see. I see. Huh. And it's working, apparently.
Yeah, we've been open 15 months.
And have you been there from the beginning?
Yes.
How did you gravitate towards that?
Well, honestly, my lifestyle and everything that I've gone through has helped me have an understanding of people in a moment of crisis that is tied to the similar things, right? Like people who have been in active addiction. So our demographic is people that have been in active addiction. So as a support staff member, I was able to make connections with the guests, and they kind of let their guard down, the kind of lower on the totem pole you are, right? If they see you sweeping and mopping, they're not going to be too concerned with keeping up appearances. So I was able to, in a smooth way, call people out on their behavior and build a rapport, build a bridge. Like, I see you, I see what's going on, and start doing that. So I was recognized in that way and was able to become a case manager. So then I did case management for a few months, got to learn all these resources and how to help people. And the process of getting help is long itself. You know, applying for Social Security is an entirely long process. So learning all of those things. And then I was approached by our CEO, and she asked me if I would be interested in helping run the overflow. The overflow has always only been from October 16th until April 30th. However, we were part of an extension on the homeless emergency services that took place last year, so we did not shut down over the summer. We stayed open.
Are you going to stay open this summer?
I am hoping so. It's all up to the legislation, and I haven't heard anything yet. We're hoping to hear before our contract is up. But it's business as usual till then.
So if you didn't stay open, what happens to your job?
It would evolve to something different.
You're flexible.
I am. I'm in it for the long haul.
And Switchpoint obviously is happy with you.
I like to think so.
And the other places, does Switchpoint also run the little housing place near downtown?
No, I don't think so. No. Yes, the micropods.
Yes.
The micro shelter. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. My partner, he runs the micro shelter, so we have similar jobs in Switchpoint.
I can imagine the discussions around the dinner table.
Oh, no work at the dinner table. No way. If we work too much.
That.
Yeah.
So how many micropods are there?
There's 50 of them.
50.
What are the micropods?
They're in a location that you don't necessarily see, but they're right
'Cause they're
downtown.
Oh my gosh, if you guys want to take a ride down there, I'll take you guys down there to go check it out.
I would definitely like to see them.
Yeah.
It's describe a micropod.
So it's under the 4 South overpass. And there used to be camps down out there. So what we did is we took these little individual bedroom pods. They're just like little storage pods. They have a window, a bed, a table. You control your own climate. And we made a little village there. And it's so awesome. They're staggered. They're underneath the overpass. We have showers. We provide, it's the same as the overflow. We provide 3 meals, over-the-counter meds, except it's non-congregate. And they have case management, so people are able to stay there and get referred there. So and we try to save that for people that are employed and are able to work the program better and get closer to housing. So they start at the overflow. They're able to get access to the micro shelter. Then they're able to get access to housing. Sometimes they go straight from the overflow to housing, but there's options.
And the thing they like about it is they can lock the door, so they're safe. You know, and being out on the street, I'm sure, as you can testify, is not safe.
Absolutely. Yeah, they get to have their own things in there and their privacy too, you know. It's pretty nice.
Did you ever get beaten up or anything on the street?
That's how I found out that I was pregnant with one of my kids. I got in a fight with these 2 girls, and I ended up taking a walk to Planned Parenthood and just needed to catch my breath. And yeah, I was pregnant.
Hey, you were pregnant. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of things like that. So it's helped a lot to have personal experience in the lifestyle to be able to help people.
Sure.
Like there's times where couples fight, and I make it a point to not really agitate the aggressor. You can tell sometimes it's the female that's the aggressor, but knowing that they'll have to deal with their partner away from us later makes me overly aware of the routes to take when helping people. So it's been really nice to connect the dots.
Believe it or not, we're out of time. See, it did go quickly, didn't it?
Oh, wow. Okay, I like it.
Paulina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Nicole.
You too.
And thank you for watching or listening to another edition of Odyssey House Journals.